Originals? How Non-Conformists Moved the World by Adam Grant. This is a book summary. What if I told you that the biggest game changers in history, the rebels, the disruptors, the rule breakers, aren't actually fearless risk takers? That's right. The people who shape history aren't daredevils who jump blindly into uncertainty. They're not reckless gamblers throwing everything away for a shot in the dark. No, the greatest innovators, they're strategic. They hedge their bets. And sometimes, they're reluctant heroes. Think about this. If Steve Jobs had never persuaded Steve Wozniak to leave his safe, corporate job at Hewlett Packard, would Apple have ever existed? If Martin Luther King Jr. had let his self-doubt stop him, would the civil rights movement have gained momentum? The people who move the world forward feel fear just like you and me. They just take action anyway. Welcome to Originals, How Non-Conformists Move the World by Adam Grant. A book that flips everything we think about success on its head. This book isn't just about creativity. It's about breaking the mold in a way that actually works. And today we're breaking it down in the most thrilling way possible. So, if you've ever had a crazy idea but were too scared to act on it, buckle up, this one's for you. Act 1. The truth about originals. Alright, let's start with a shocking revelation that might just blow your mind. The greatest innovators in history aren't fearless. We like to imagine them as bold pioneers charging ahead with unshakable confidence. But the truth is, most of them were cautious, sometimes even reluctant, about taking risks. Take Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. You'd think he quit his job, went all in, and took a massive leap of faith, right? Nope. The guy kept working at Hewlett Packard for an entire year after starting Apple. He wasn't a reckless risk-taker, he was calculated. Or Sarah Blakely, the billionaire founder of Spanx. Before she revolutionized women's fashion, she wasn't making deals with investors. She was selling fax machines, door to door. She worked her day job while quietly building her empire at night. Why? Because they knew something most people don't. Originals don't take extreme risks, they hedge their bets. You don't have to drop out of school. You don't have to quit your job overnight. You don't have to gamble everything to change the world. The best disruptors? They play the long game. They take strategic risks, not reckless ones. And if you're sitting there thinking, but I have an idea that could really work, listen up, because next, we're diving into the Warby Parker story, a real-life example of how thinking like an original can turn a side hustle into a billion-dollar empire. Act 2, the Warby Parker story. Rebels who played it smart. Picture this. It's 2008. 4 ambitious students at Wharton Business School are drowning in student loans. They're young, hungry, and just like any other grad student, except for one thing. They've had enough. Enough of big corporations overcharging for a basic necessity. Enough of people struggling to afford something as simple as clear vision. And enough of a monopoly-controlled market that's been ripping off customers for decades. The final straw? One of them has been wearing the same broken pair of glasses for 5 years. The prescription is outdated. The lenses are scratched. And guess how he keeps the frame together? A paperclip. And that's when it hits them. Why do glasses cost $500 when they barely cost $30 to make? Why is a single company, Luxottica, controlling nearly 80% of the eyewear industry? Ray-Ban, owned by Luxottica, Oakley, owned by Luxottica, Chanel, Prada, and even LensCrafters, all owned by the same giant, and that's where their billion-dollar idea is born. Sell designer-quality glasses online for $95. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. No one will buy glasses online. People need to try them on first. If this was a good idea, someone would have already done it. The critics were brutal. Even investors laughed them out of the room. But instead of giving up or making a reckless move, they played it smart. They kept their day jobs. No quitting, no burning bridges. They built their startup in their spare time. They tested the idea carefully. No wild risks, just calculated steps. They created a home try-on program, so customers could order frames, test them at home, and send them back for free if they didn't like them. And boom, within days of launching in 2010, their stock completely sold out. They expected to sell a few glasses a day. Instead, they sold out their entire year's inventory in just 3 weeks. And that was just the beginning. Fast forward to today. Warby Parker is worth over $1 billion. They've sold millions of glasses and donated over 10 million pairs to people in need. And all of this started from a simple but powerful idea: challenging the status quo without taking reckless risks. So let's get real for a second. What's stopping you from starting that side hustle? What's stopping you from writing that book, launching that business, or taking your shot? You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to go all in overnight. You don't have to risk everything. You just have to take the first step, because crazy ideas aren't actually crazy if you test them first. Act 3. The myth of first mover advantage. Alright, let's bust another massive myth you've been told your whole life. The first mover advantage. Sounds like a golden rule, right? Be the first to market, dominate the space, and win forever. But here's the reality. Being first is usually a disaster. Google? Not the first search engine. Facebook? Not the first social network. Amazon? Not the first online bookstore. Netscape? First major web browser? First major social network? Gone. The Segway? The future of transportation? Now a running joke. Why does this happen? Because being first means you make all the mistakes. The first movers? They take the punches, clear the path, and teach everyone else what not to do. Then the smart originals come in. They study what worked. They learn from what failed, and they do it better. That's why Google crushed Yahoo. That's why Facebook overtook MySpace. That's why the iPhone dominated while BlackBerry collapsed. So next time you think, oh no, someone already did this, it's not about being first, it's about being the best. Act 4. Managing fear and self-doubt. Let's talk about the biggest thing that holds people back. It's not money. It's not lack of talent. It's not even time. It's fear. The fear of failing. The fear of looking foolish. The fear of wasting time on something that might not work. But here's what no one tells you. Even the greatest minds in history were paralyzed by doubt. Even the most iconic originals had moments where they wanted to quit. Martin Luther King Jr. almost turned down leading the civil rights movement because he felt unprepared. He was a young preacher, not a political leader. The weight of history sat heavy on his shoulders. Michelangelo fled from Rome when the Pope asked him to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Why? Because he wasn't a painter, he was a sculptor. He didn't believe he was good enough. Here's what you need to hear. Feeling afraid doesn't mean you're not original. Feeling doubt doesn't mean you're going to fail. It just means you're human. And here's the part that separates the originals from the rest. They act anyway. They don't let fear stop them. They use it. Fear is a signal. It means you're about to step outside your comfort zone. It means you're onto something big. So, what's that one idea you've been sitting on? What's that one risk you've been too scared to take? You don't need to be fearless. You just need to take the first step. Because today just might be the day you start. Act 5. How you can be an original, even if you think you're not. Here are the 3 secrets that every original knows. 1. You don't need to take crazy risks. Think of the Warby Parker founders. Think of Steve Wozniak. They didn't quit their jobs overnight. They built their vision step by step. 2. You don't have to be first. Google wasn't the first search engine. Facebook wasn't the first social network. Being first doesn't matter. Being the best does. 3. You don't need to be fearless. Every great leader, every innovator, every game changer you admire has doubted themselves. The difference? They took action anyway. So now I have one question for you. What's your idea? Because let me tell you something. You don't take permission. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to start. And if you want to see more videos that challenge the way you think, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's shake things up together.